Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, May 18th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing to keep in mind right now, we had a stop run day the previous session through 2-day highs, price pushing toward the previous week's high and closing very strong. Today, already a fade after trend day back toward the previous session's midpoint. Previous session's midpoint is right at 40.46, and basically that's right around the current morning lows. 40.50 is the current morning lows. This is the spot right here where if we are going to see a continuation higher today, we are going to see some sort of defense by the bulls between 40.40 and 40.50. So somewhere in that zone you'd look for a morning low for a shot at a checkmark trend day up toward 41.40 to 41.50 on the high end. Right now we're seeing the potential for a move of about 100 points today if things get going per normal. If you take a look here at the one-day average range here, you'll notice that one-day average range is about 108 points. For the 5-period average, it's about 85 points. So about 100 points could be somewhere in the ballpark of where we see price push to. So somewhere between 85 and 100 points of range. Now, if price can hold the midpoint and the 8-period average on a pullback today, that'll be the first time in a while for a shot at pushing this thing up. However, any failure to hold that midpoint could open up the potential for a bearish outside day down. Think something like this or like this, where price after a big day up is getting crushed the very next day given this downtrending price action. So the midpoint's going to be very important. Any failure to hold that level could open up another big continuation to the downside. If bulls can withstand this early pullback this morning, there could be a checkmark trend day up from new highs heading into the rest of the day. So keep an eye on the previous session's midpoint. If we take a look at the NQ, very similar price action here as well. You've seen a bit more strength in the previous session, not quite as strong as the ES here, but pushing higher. Now returning back to the previous session midpoint. 12.406 is that midpoint. Today's low is 12.408 half. We're right in that zone right now. You also have the 8-period average coming in to provide support for the first time in a little while. Again, this is very early bullish potential here for a bounce off that midpoint and maybe a continuation up. At the moment, you're seeing the 5-period average here drop against the 10, and that tells you that volatility is dropping. 365 points basically there. That's the potential here up to 460. So somewhere in that middle zone would be about 400 points of potential range. Overall, if price can hold that 12.4 level, we could be looking at a rally toward 12.750 or 12.8 on the high end. Any failure to hold that midpoint and you're dropping right back to 12.2 for a big time test at the previous year's low. So that midpoint here going to be very important. 12.400. Can bulls keep that area bid? If so, we could see a bit of a checkmark trend day up on the best case scenario. Taking a look here at crude oil, this one's up 2.25% right now. At the moment, holding the 110s on the early pullback. We still see quite a bit of strength overall. The 115, 116 zone continues to provide quite a bit of resistance. If you take a look here, you'll see that range has been very, very important. Here's about the 116, 115 zone. Down on the lower end, you're looking at 93, 94. And then you have about the 104, 105 zone, and right around that midpoint of the range. And again, you're seeing a little bit of a back off this zone right now. Not the easiest to fade strength in crude right now, given the fact that it has been very bullish, but the 115, 116 zone has proved to be quite the area of resistance. Any failure to get back above 113s here could open up a return back toward 107.85, which is the FOMC key level from May, but also back toward the center of the range in the 104, 105 zone. Today we have crude oil inventories, which could influence price a bit later on today. We take a look here at Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin down a little bit here, mostly range-bound inside day price action over the last couple of days. We've had a very strong rejection here of prices below the previous year's low, prices into the 25K level, and currently holding in a very narrow range again. We are one failed new low away from what could be a decent bounce ahead. If price can continue to hold 28.5 on any retest here, we could be looking at a decent bounce back up. Right now, just kind of wading through the water here at the moment, just holding these gains after the recent bounce, but still in a very aggressive downtrend, and could still see more weakness here upon a failure to hold 28.5 down the road. So that's the level to hold here. Can it hold that zone and continue to bounce up? If so, there could be a retest back toward prior support at 34K. Taking a look here at ETH, very similar price action as well. Big time bounce off the 1700 level and holding inside days right now. Very narrow price action as it attempts to hold the 2000 level. Again, pushing through 2200 could open up a bit of strength back toward as high as 2600, maybe even a little bit higher. But we still have this bearish Pima trigger zone that is in play, so any bounce could still be seen as a selling opportunity for bears. As long as price continues to hold that 1950 zone, bulls have a short-term upper hand off of this low, while bears have had control obviously over the medium term and the longer term trend here since November. But again, inside day here, double inside day, very narrow price action. If you quantify the recent 3 or 4 days here, it's clearly building some energy with the potential to see a decent breakout at some point. So right now we're looking at about 600 points of range that could be seen on the easy end, maybe 750 once it's ready to go. And again, watching for a move out of this range here could give us the next 600 to 750 points of action. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.